Hi everyone, Scott from Green Lab Futures. So this week we're continuing the conversation with our tricks and tips on the storytelling narrative. So last week we talked about the three areas that we want to focus on when building content for our social enterprise. This week we're focusing on the storytelling narrative. So what is storytelling? That's a good question. For me, what I really try and center my work on is the user. I use the human-centered design approach to center our storytelling narrative on the people that we want to come along with us on the journey. And you remember last week we talked about having people in the passenger seat being able to see everything along the way, so they know when we're failing and they know when we're succeeding. That's a part of the storytelling narrative when we have them, the user, the human user of our social enterprise, at the center of our content developing storyline. And so that storytelling process, what it allows us to do is to explore the conversations that we have on a week-to-week basis. And so what I like to focus on with storytelling is to tell a few stories. So we might have the story, refer back to my comic book ethos growing up. We want to have the story that tells the beginning of the idea, and that story might be through curating content that you're sharing with your audience to continue to share with them how it is that idea was seeded in your brain. At other times it might be that you attended a program like an incubator, an accelerator, a design jam, a sprint, one of the many programs that we run, and that helped you to think about this idea further, and maybe that was the ideation process. And so those two areas, they give us content that we can use to share with our audience, to tell this story about where this come from. The final one that I like to look at is the inspiration. So how were you inspired to take this step? Is it a completely new step? Is it a career change? Because we're finding that right now, lots of people are having career changes. Not for any particular reason, but we're seeing people move from the city to the country with new skill sets, thinking, I want to have a positive impact. That's their social enterprise that they spawn, and then they start to share that storytelling narrative of, I moved to the country. I met some wonderful people, I got inspired, I'm now pursuing my ideation, inspiration, and the foundations of where it came from. So we've then got within our storytelling narrative those 3 points that build the content that we're able to share with our audience, whether that be on LinkedIn, whether that be on Facebook, on Instagram, or YouTube. So for me, the storytelling narrative is where you get to personalize the message that you share with the audience. It's not where you tell how awesome everything is, because we know, I know, that social enterprises are bloody hard work. I also know that you're going to get things wrong. If you get everything right, good on you. But like a lot of the scars that I have from my big social enterprise, they're right here. They're on my face. I wear them every day because that thing, like, I look back in hindsight, as much as I loved every day of what I did in our social enterprise, I made some big mistakes. And I'm still learning through those mistakes and supporting the people that I made those mistakes with to support the new direction that I'm heading down. And that storytelling narrative means that, wow, I just shared that, and we share with our audience because they want to know who we are and what we're doing, not just in their backyard, but they want to know about the change that you're looking to bring to the community, and they want to know who you are. So use this. This is your face. Use your face on your content. Don't be afraid to hide it behind the scenes. put it out there, because people will put that connection together between the face and the content, and that storytelling process that you build for your enterprise, so that when other people start to talk about what the work is that you're doing, they can tell the story that you're putting out, not the story that you want them to make up for those those random conversations. We curate the storytelling process, so that becomes our narrative. Now, next week we're going to be talking more about content curation and content creation. So stay tuned for next week's tips and tricks with Scott from Green Lab Futures. Cheers.